what's going on, everybody? So happy to see you here on another Lost In, where we talk about cool cars and the men and women that have made their impact on the automotive world. Strap in, let's go. This story today is about how MICHÈLE MOUTON tamed Group B rally racing. 50 years after her debut, we look back at the amazing and stellar career of MICHÈLE MOUTON, a woman that dominated rally's most dangerous and deadly era. Grasse, the south of France, known for its perfume, but for MICHÈLE MOUTON, her smell of choice was a little bit of burning rubber and gasoline. Her story begins in 1974, where her father gifted her a A110 Alpina on the condition she proved her speed or called it quits. MICHÈLE didn't just prove her speed, she absolutely terrified her competitors. She was so quick that they pressed the FIA to tear down the little Alpina for any illegalities. Of course, they didn't find anything, the car was perfectly legal. She was just that insanely fast. In 1975, she also proved her mettle outside of rally racing, in the 2-point leader class at Le Mans. Rally racing, however, was her focus, her life's blood. After switching to a privately owned Porsche 911 in 1977, then earning a works drive with Fiat, prepared her for her career-defining moment when she was invited by Audi to drive the revolutionary Audi Quattro in its WRC debut. MICHÈLE was quoted saying,
"I drove 500 meters, then came back and said to the team boss, the steering is wrong. Something is wrong with this car."
The pit boss just kind of kicked back and smiled and said, "MICHÈLE, perhaps it's because you just drove the Quattro."
The Fiat 131 was like a truck in comparison.
The increased power and power steering made it so much easier to drive. Of course, it took adaptation to learn it, but it was amazing. Knowing her all-female crew was pretty much a PR stunt. With her co-pilot, Fabrizia Pons, MICHÈLE was determined to make it something more. And MICHÈLE did spectacularly. By the end of the 1981 season, she became the first and only woman ever to win a round of the WRC outright at the Alley San Remo. However, her 1982 campaign was the stuff of legends. Despite a horrible beginning at Monte Carlo, she came roaring back to claim 3 sensational victories in Portugal, Greece, and Brazil. Oba! By the penultimate event, the notorious tough Côte d'Ivoire, it was a straight fight for the championship between Mouton and Opel driver Walter Rojoro. And tragedy strikes. As MICHÈLE was beginning to start the rally, horrible, devastating news came that her father succumbed to cancer.
My father died at 7 a.m. and the race started at 8:30 a.m.
She was urged to continue by her mother, who loved and supported her on this. Mouton kept the news private, only telling her co-pilot, and she jumped into that little Quattro to try to win that championship. She was an astounding 1 hour and 20 minutes in front of the competition, and before a gearbox change and other complications, these subsequent problems led her to push too hard, and she ultimately wiped out, crashed. She lost the maximum 20 points, and with them, the championship. She stated,
"I lost the world championship, but I miss my father more."
Amazingly, she finished the season second overall, a WRC record that no woman has ever surpassed, and helped Audi to clinch the manufacturer's title. The Group B era was about pushing the limits, testing your mettle, getting the grit in your teeth and seeing what you were made of. And in 1984 and 1985, MICHÈLE MOUTON found a new mountain to conquer, the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. Yoo-hoo! I grew up right under that mountain in Colorado. Back then, it was a treacherous 12-mile dirt road. People going to Pikes Peak today now get the luxury of a paved road all the way up to the top. Back then, it was dirt, gravel, loose, and full of washboard. This course was challenging enough. On top of that, Mouton also faced baffling opposition, institutional resistance. During the practice of the 1985 race, she quickly ran afoul of the organizers.
The Americans weren't prepared for us at all at Pike's Peak. They didn't know about turbo engines or European driving, and I was a woman.
They eventually posed a ludicrous penalty upon Michelle, forcing this poor pilot to run to her car and start it in neutral.
So they didn't mind if I jump into the car and don't do the seatbelt up properly while I'm rushing to drive up the mountain?
Despite the penalty and the need to start the car out of gear, Mouton charged to the summit in 11 minutes, 23.59 seconds, smashing Al'Un's overall course record by 13 seconds and beating established names like Bobby Ernst. Her summary remains definitive. She was quoted saying,
"They didn't know how determined I am."
Michelle drove every iteration of the WRC Quattro, but she preferred the first short wheelbase.
The car only became too fast at the end with the second short wheelbase. Car with 530 bhp on asphalt. It was really hard to read the limit.
Holy but Jesus, that's fast. This increasing speed eventually led to disaster with the tragic deaths of Henri Tauvin and his co-pilot in 1986, a moment where Mouton recalls as
terrible. The sport was changed forever and the class was banned.
Michèle Mouton went on to winning the 1986 rally race in Germany before retiring to focus on having a family. However, Tauvin's memory really stuck with her. In 1988, she helped found the Race of Champions, an event that continues to this day to honor the great rally racers. Most recently, from 2010 to 2022, she led the FIA's Women's Sports Commission, ensuring her legacy would inspire generations to come. Michèle Mouton is more than a pioneer. She's an outright living legend who, during rally's most dangerous era, simply beat the best there was, permanently shifting the perspective of what a woman could do in motorsports. Wow, Michelle is absolutely a legend, an amazing story, an amazing life. If you guys like what we do here, please give a thumbs up, subscribe, leave some words in the word box. I love to put my eyeballs on that. But like I always say, I'll see you on the flip side. Até a próxima. Ciao, ciao.
A mother and daughter had a lucky escape when they were hit by a rally car during a local race in Galicia in Spain. The driver lost control of his vehicle and rammed into the pair, catapulting them into the air. Thankfully, both suffered only slight injuries. The argument for adequate security at such events is already raging, and this horrible accident will add fuel to the fire.